I think I'm gonna title this one "Bullshit Milestones," right? Because everybody tells you the same BS story: graduate, get the job, buy the car, buy the house, start a family, work, aka slave, for 40 years straight, and then and only then are you allowed to rest. And they call these things milestones. And on the surface, to their credit, they do look like successes. But the truth is always uglier, as we know, right? And people don't like to talk about them. These milestones can either build your freedom or quietly enslave you to the system. Same exact tools, but very, very different outcomes, right? So today, my friends, we're going to talk about these bullshit milestones. And not because the goals themselves are evil or, made by Satan, but because most people that just because most people just chase them blindly. And when you chase them blindly, you don't build a life. You build a financial cage. And to understand this, we must speak about how society assigns value, right? Western society is obsessed with assigned value. They tell you what matters, right? The big house, a new car, a high credit score, and a flashy lifestyle. And none of these things, like I said, are inherently bad on their own. But the problem is, who the fuck is choosing these goals for you? Is it you choosing these things? Or is it the banks, the corporations, that $100 million marketing department, right? Entire industries built on debt. And you're taught if you don't hit these milestones, you're falling behind. But nobody ever asks, what does success look like to me? What do I give a shit about? And that's where the trap starts. And the first trap I want to talk about, this one grinds my gears like, I don't want to talk. You know what? Let's talk about it. It's the mortgage. It's that damn mortgage. And I want to talk about that word mortgage. It derives from French, right? The word mort, which means death, and gage, which is pledge. It's literally a death pledge. Buying a house, a mortgage can and is an absolute trap. 30 years of payments. Do you hear that? 30 years, and interest stacks like crazy, right? And it gives you the fear of walking away from a job and leaves you no flexibility. You're telling me for the next 30 years, you think this street is going to be the same? The crime level is going to be the same? Are you serious? But there's also another side that a mortgage can help with, right? It can help sharpen your discipline. A mortgage can force you to have a saving plan. And it's a good hedge against rent inflation, right? It's a tool for building long-term wealth. And it's a good foundation for generational stability because the house, if you do end up owning it, it's going to be in your family. But you have to decide this house is not my prison. This is a decision I'm making, not just the progression step in the assembly line. A blind debt is literally like a prison. If you can buy a house you can barely afford, you don't own that house. That house owns you. But if you buy within your means, right, with strategy, with margin, with options, that same mortgage that enslaves one person can free another. Like I said in the beginning, same system, different intelligence, and different application. And the second thing down from the house that they put so much emphasis on is the car. To me, that shit is nothing but four wheels and a fucking engine. Nothing more, nothing less. But to you, it can either be a trap or a tool, right? Yes, a car loan can trap you. 3 to 7 years of payments. Think about that. 3 to 7 years of payments. And the moment you skirt off the lot, that shit depreciates. And insurance, as we know, is a motherfucker. And most of the time, you don't even need that trap. It's just lifestyle inflation, trying to keep up with everybody else. And some people spend more on their cars than they do in their investments. Well, most people. But let's be fair here, right? A car, like I said, trap or tool, right? On the tool side, it could be a business tool, an income multiplier, right? It gives you the advantage of mobility, which is a phenomenal, freeing thing. What did Kevin Gates say? No transportation, you hate your life. Something along those lines. Right? It's a time saving asset, right? But that same car can trap a dumbass in payments for 3 to 7 years and have them upside down on multiple loans, or it can help another person who works smart, buys within their means, and drives till the wheels fall off. It can multiply their income, right? The difference is just your intent. Are you buying a car to impress or to build? Right? Are you buying that car to show up to the club when that shit is empty on gas? Or are you just keeping your head down, driving to where you need to be at and not where you want to be at, and getting the job done? Right? Are you upgrading for attention or leverage? That's really and that's the main difference right there. Point A to point B does not need to cost $70,000. I'll say that again. Point A to point B does not need to cost $70,000 to $100,000. That's ridiculous. And what that car does leads directly into my next segment, and that is debt, the invisible cost of it, because most folks don't even know they have debt or how much they have, right? Because debt doesn't just affect your money. That shit affects the decisions you make every single day. It affects how you sleep. When your life is loaded with payments, you tolerate jobs you hate. You tolerate disrespect from motherfuckers you would body slam in a heartbeat. And your dreams get put on the back burner until you're dreaming forever. You're dead. And you choose safety over growth because you literally have no breathing room. It's not because you're weak, right? But it's because that pressure changes your behavior. It changes your trajectory. And at the same time, strategic debt can accelerate your life when it's used right. Debt for education, you can have a ROI on that. But as we know in this economy, degrees are becoming more and more useless. So be careful how you wanna get that educational debt figured out. But also business growth. You go in debt to start a business and you make your return. In real investments, it can move forward faster than cash flow. Because debt isn't evil, but unconscious debt is the devil's ball sack. Consumer debt is like two hands wrapped around your neck and they're choking you, choking the life out of you. And the worst part is like the timeline is the real scam, right? This is another huge lie they sell you. And all these lies, you're not just buying them because you're stupid, but these are industries. They've got $1 million marketing campaigns so you believe these things internally. And the timeline is by 25 you should have this, by 30 you should own this, by 40 you should have been settled down, have everything figured out, and be in the stars by now. But if you're not where everybody else is, they make you feel behind. They make you feel like you're just a piece of shit. But the timeline is not real. Time isn't real. If I remove every clock from every household, you won't know shit. It's created for the workplace planning, the tax system, and economic predictability. It's not for human fulfillment, right? Some people get rich at 14. Look at Clicks, the YouTuber. He made his first million at 14 from Fortnite or some video game. Some folks get rich at 22, some at 50, some find peace at 70. Your life isn't late. It's just not on their production schedule. Right. And I want to talk about the real versus bullshit milestones to keep in line with the title of this video. Let me break it down real simple, right? The bullshit milestones, they're easy to spot because they're literally everywhere. Walk outside of any parking lot and you will see the bullshit milestones. That brand new car that you know is sitting in a McDonald's parking lot while the employee inside is drowning in it. Right? That big house that looks fantastic on the outside, huge facade, but you go inside, there's no furniture because a person can't afford anything. Right? That empty job title that makes a person feel better than everybody else, but deep inside, they're empty. They're nothing. That credit score. The credit score is just designed to help you get into more debt. Right? What I consider the real milestone is when your income exceeds your expenses, when you have the discipline to walk away with something more at the end of each month, when you can quit a toxic job without panicking, without the fear of drowning. That's a real milestone. When you invest more than you consume, right? When you control your time, when you stop living for approval, when you can walk outside barefoot with your chest out and know my values are my values and I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks, right? When you stop comparing your timeline saying, oh, look at this person who's my age and they have XYZ. When the thief of happiness, which is comparison, has no more hold over you, that's a real milestone. That's internal growths. Nobody markets these milestones because nobody profits from them. But your soul profits from these things. You get enriched by these things. The system is obviously here for a reason. So there are ways to use it without being used by it. Right? You don't escape the system by rejecting it. Obviously, you can become a hermit and live in a fucking cave. But you escape it by understanding it, by understanding what role it plays in your life. Right? You can use credit without becoming a slave to it. You can own assets without them owning you. Right? You can own a car, get around. You can own a house without having to sell your freaking lungs just to afford the payment. You can enjoy nice things without financing your entire identity. Right? The danger isn't money. The danger is building your life around payments instead of purpose. Right? And this is what I'll leave here as a final perspective. I'm not some kind of anti-everything, right? I'm not anti-house. I'm not anti-car. I'm not anti-corporate success. I'm anti-mindless chasing, right? I am anti-buffoonery because you can build a life that looks successful and still feel trapped. Or you can build a life that looks simple on the outside, but you're completely free. You can get on a plane right now, leave, and come back whenever you feel like it. The real milestone is not what you own. It's how much of your life you have control over. So, my friends, design really, really, really carefully because you're going to have to live inside that design. Move consciously and never let society rush you into a cage it calls success. Because the only person who's doing that time, who's serving that life sentence, is you. Not your parents, not your friends, not the people on the internet you're impressing. You're serving that life sentence. You're sitting down. So be careful. If this message resonates with you, like, comment, subscribe. We're building this thing one hammer swing at a time.